the podcast for diehard Cavs fans. Corey here with you, along with Alex. And Alex, how was your turkey day, man?
It was good. It was good. Went and spent it with family, with my wife's family, and tomorrow we're going to celebrate Thanksgiving with my family and watch the Ohio State game.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's kind of been a nice little break, but it's been hectic. A lot of family stuff going on. And you were talking about before we started recording, you guys were doing a little bit of shopping.
Yeah, yeah. We needed to get a new Christmas tree, so we did the Lowe's, Home Depot, Costco, Petitti's, Lighthouse. Just trying to find something that fit the space that we had and what a good price and all the features we wanted. That's what you got to look for in a Christmas tree these days, right? The electronics that are in them.
Sure.
Unfortunately, you got the LED lights, the dimming and color changing and all that craziness. So yeah,
Yeah.
we ended up getting a Christmas tree at Lighthouse, and while we were there, I was looking at like the patio furniture, and they got games and hot tubs, and I saw some pool tables, and they had a sign that said 50% off, and they had a Cleveland Cavaliers pool table, and it was beautiful, Corey.
That's
On the
awesome.
on the cloth, it had the Cavs 50th anniversary logo, and it was
Nice.
like, yeah, it was really cool.
What was that? What was that? You said 50% off. What was that price
50%
tag?
off. It was still about $3,000, but yeah, yeah,
So
it was a little
Alex,
pricey.
Alex, I hope you made the right decision and didn't cancel your family's Christmas and, and
Oh
buy
no,
that pool
I
table. All
I got the measuring tape out. I'm checking my
right.
space. Yeah, they do not offer a military discount. I already checked that.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. I was at Five Below recently with my fam, just looking around, getting some ideas and stuff like that. And they actually had one of those miniature pool tables. It was like $15 or something like that. I can always get that for you. I'm sure we can find a decal somewhere of a Cavs logo, and we can just slap that bad boy on there, and
Yeah,
we could play pool at your house on the miniature pool table. All right.
some fat heads.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
Thanksgiving is always one of my favorite holidays. Love the food. Turkey time is always a good time. Getting away from work, spending time with the fam. But Alex, I think unfortunately the Cavs had too much turkey because they have laid two stinkers in a row against a inferior team in the Atlanta Hawks, and it's their first losing streak of the season. Not too bad for being almost 20 games into the year, but it not the team that I would have thought it would have happened against by any means.
yeah. It's I don't know what it is. They're a tough matchup for us. They got a lot of good young guys. They play a similar style to us. They get up and down the court fast.
Yep.
They got several guys that are just long and lanky and quick, and
Jumping out of the gym.
yeah. They got what, Daniels, Johnson, and is it Riche? I can't remember how to say his last name, but those three guys they're all three really good. They actually look very similar. They have like the similar hairstyle and body type, and yeah,
Johnson
all,
too.
all three of them are just,
Jalen Johnson too can jump out of the
yeah,
gym.
Johnson. Yeah, they're just all incredibly athletic, and they're just tough matchup for us.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed, and now the Cavs are unfortunately eliminated from the NBA Cup. Alex, ripped away from another title.
Yeah,
The drought continues. 8 years and counting. I, kids don't know these days, Alex. They just
yeah. Yeah, a little disappointed. I thought, shoot, we were on such a good roll, such a hot streak going into this in-game, in-season tournament. I thought we would steamroll it.
Yeah. Before we get into these games, and the cup's over for us, but we didn't get a chance to talk about this last time because it hadn't started yet. But what do you think about like the courts? Because every NBA team's doing a different court, right? For their home games, and they're pretty, I don't know, exotic is the best way. Very colorful, kind of blinding. We talked about this a little bit last year, but what did you think about some of the courts you saw, or even the Cavs court, for these games? Do you like them? Do you not like them?
I like the Cavs court. I think it looks really nice. It's very they did it in a very classy way. I thought the Atlanta Hawks court looked terrible. I'm not quite even sure I understand what design they were going for with that. I can't really remember any of the others off the top of my head, really.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them from other teams, like just watching highlights or whatever, and it's just some of these courts, man, they're so bright, and it's got to be weird to play on that because yeah, you still got a 3-point line, you still got all your lines there, but it's got to throw you off. And I remember last year, which was the first year, there was like people slipping all over the place. And what you drinking, Alex?
I was showing off my Great Lakes Cookie Exchange Milk Stout.
It is that time of year for you, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna mention that at the very beginning of the
Ah,
episode when you were talking about time of the year. It's
yeah,
like, yeah, it's also a great time of year for beer
there
because
you
you got,
go.
the Great Lakes Christmas Ale comes out, and along with that, they've been bringing out some new ones. The Cookie Exchange Milk Stout's a new one. Then I also picked up the Left Hand Stout Mexican Hot Chocolate, which is a
Nice.
very interesting flavored beer.
All at Gills? We haven't shouted out Gills in a while, or no?
No, I picked
You
these
moved
up
on,
at
haven't you? Yeah, you
yeah,
moved on.
yeah.
You
I
did.
got
You
all these
moved. You
from
to be fair, you moved, so it's probably a longer drive for you.
uh
But
well, did Gills move?
I thought
Because
you
that
did. You
well,
moved.
yeah, I moved. I thought you were talking about Gills. Yeah, no, well, Gills is not there, but it's still there. I think
Yes.
they just changed names. Now it's
Yeah.
called Proof.
Oh, well,
But yeah, I did not get this at Proof. I got this at Discount Drug Mart. I did go to Proof though and buy a bottle of gin.
there you
So
go.
there's that.
There you go. Got to get through these painful Cavs games somehow,
Well,
right?
I'll keep rambling about whatever you want to talk about, Corey.
Yeah, well, talking about two Hawks losses isn't very fun, but let's get back to it. Let's break down today's game. Today's game was an early game, Alex. It was like a 2:30 game, which is great in theory, right? Because most people aren't working and stuff. But man, busy. It was kind of hard to catch this game, to be honest with you. But the Cavs ended up losing this game 117 to 101. And Alex, what did you see in this game? Why did the Cavs lose this game?
I just feel like we got away from doing what we've been doing. We kind of got away from the 3-point game, playing solid defense. I don't know what it is. Like I said earlier, I think we just don't match up well against the Hawks. And at the same time, we just kind of, it didn't seem like we were giving all the effort that we had been giving at the very beginning of the season. We seemed like we kind of slacked off a little bit.
Telling you, man, too much turkey. Too much turkey because they
Could
look like a
be.
different team, man. Defense, defense, defense killed them, in my opinion. Gave up way too many easy buckets and just, yeah, the effort wasn't there like we've been accustomed to see up until this point, really.
Not a single block.
Yeah, very, very uncharacteristic of this team. Just they didn't seem like they were there. They just seemed like they were checked out. Jared Allen has, a horrible game, which isn't the norm for him. He gives you 6 points, 5 rebounds. Donovan Mitchell, played a lot of minutes, but wasn't able to get going. Had 11 rebounds. That's cool, but only 12 points. And unfortunately, in today's NBA, points is what's going to win the game, right? You got to outscore the other team. So, having those two guys kind of not be their norm on top of the lack of a defensive effort, it was going to be very hard to win this game. You needed a hero somewhere else. And, it just, nobody else really, from the bench had a big game tonight. Everybody else had single digits basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just got away from the style of basketball that they've been playing.
Yeah.
Uh, Donovan Mitchell 2 for 10 from three.
Garland was
Mobley
shooting good. Garland
Mobley
had a good,
shot 3 3-pointers. Didn't hit
yeah,
any of them.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
bizarre.
He still had a solid game. I mean, 24 points, 12 rebounds. He was aggressive. He was dunking. He was getting to the rim. Garland was jacking up 3-pointers, finished with 29 points. But yeah, Mitchell just had an off game. It happens.
Niang 0
Um,
for 4 from three. No surprise there.
there's the guy There's the guy right? You were waiting for that all season. When can I rag on Niang because he's actually been kind of
He
okay.
Yeah, he's been kind of okay, and then
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
He's been laying a couple eggs these last few games. So
The Cavs did get some health back, Alex, though. That is something that happened kind of in between. Since last time we recorded, we kind of had our first stint of some injuries happen outside of Max Strus. This was the first game that Karis LeVert was back, which was nice to see. He played 20 minutes, but again, I mean, yeah, what do you expect? He's not going to come back and drop 30 and save the day, right? So, but nice to have some healthy bodies back and get LeVert back into the lineup as well.
Yeah, we did kind of get bit by the injury bug, and it was right before that Celtics game,
Yeah,
which was really disappointing because it would have been nice to go in there full strength. Because I think we would have stole that one if we were full strength. But we ended up starting Sam Merrill, who hadn't really gotten a whole lot of minutes all season. Then here we are plugging him into the starting lineup against the Celtics. But we were without Okoro, who was getting quality minutes, during that hot run we had. We were without Wade. Who else was missing from that? That we had four guys
LeVert.
injured.
Yeah,
Levert,
LeVert was out
who was a
as well.
solid on the second unit for us, and then yeah, we just ran into the best team in the East, and we were not at full strength, and I think that's kind of the story there. But we
Yeah,
we played good basketball otherwise.
yeah. We'll touch on. I want to get into that Celtics game here, but I want to get through these couple games here first. But I definitely want to go back to that. And credit to the Hawks because the Hawks. I'm looking at their box score,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's what I'm used to seeing for the Cavs. Five, 6 people in double digit scoring, and that's what they did. You know what I mean? And credit to them. And they played two great games against the Cavs. And again, they're a team that's been kind of struggling. They're under 500, and they found a way to beat arguably one of the best teams in the league right now in the Cleveland Cavaliers back to back. So that's gonna give them some clout and some confidence, moving forward. Um, the game before this was in Cleveland, Alex. Don't know if you got a chance to catch that game at all, but it was, I mean, it wasn't all a similar story because Donovan Mitchell did show up. He dropped 30 points. Jared Allen, 17 and 10. Like you kind of saw, those players doing what they were doing. But again, the Cavs, you might be onto something. Maybe it's just not a good matchup for them. Could be as
It
simple as that.
it felt very similar. It just felt like the Cavs were playing sloppy. Like you were saying, the defense wasn't there. The number of turnovers was crazy for the Cavs. They just kept turning the ball over. They weren't taking care of the ball at all. I don't know what it was. What got them out of sync against the Hawks, but
They also got out rebounded this game, which with not with Tristan, with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Like it should be very rare that you're getting out rebounded, in my opinion, and they got out rebounded by the Hawks. Um, they had more assists, so it's just yeah, not a good game, not a good one to lose at home. Not what we were expecting, and if I recall, this Hawks team is one of the teams that actually beat the Celtics, I want to say, earlier in the year. It was like a last second shot or it was a 1-point win or something like that a couple weeks ago as well.
yep.
So the Hawks, although struggling again under 500, they've beaten some quality teams here. So maybe they'll start to figure things out and kind of become one of those sneaky middle of the pack teams. But
Yeah, it's funny. They've beaten the
two
two
top
best
teams.
teams. They had the two top teams in the East, and I mean they're 8-11. It's not like they're destroying other teams,
No,
but they
no.
just they,
There's a
they
lot of
just
basketball left, though. A
yeah.
lot of basketball left in this year. So the Cavs, hey, this was going to happen at some point, right, Alex? Like the Cavs were going to lose a basketball game. That was the Celtics game. The Cavs were going to have some sort of losing streak at some point, right? That's the Atlanta Hawks. It was going to happen. They weren't going to go, undefeated or anything like that. Um, the thing though is you want to limit how many times you have those losing streaks, right? You had a 2-game losing streak. You don't want a 4 or 5-game losing streak. You don't want multiple of those throughout the year. The best teams in the league limit their losing streaks to 2, 3, maybe at most, right? And they limit how many times that happens, and that's what keeps them at the top of the league. And you started talking about that Celtics game, and I definitely want to go back to that because to me, this feels a bit similar. They had an opportunity and a disappointing result with that Celtics game, right? They just had the same scenario happen with the Atlanta Hawks, and it's disappointing in the fact you lost back-to-back games to the same team, and again, a team that's not as good as you. So when they lost that Celtics game, Alex, I wasn't really that. Of course, it sucks because it meant the end of the streak, and it sucks because it's the Celtics, and you never want to see your team lose, right? But the Cavs were missing 4 players. They gave up 15 3-pointers in the first quarter. They were getting humiliated by halftime and bashed on social media, and then came out the gate the second half, got back into the game, and no, they didn't win that game, but guess what? Their starters had to play the rest of that game to the last buzzer. They didn't get to sit there and just all sit back in the fourth quarter and have their laughs and like, no. Tatum, Brown, all those guys, they had to play. They had to fight the Cavs off. And that showed heart, in my opinion. And then it was like, okay, after they lose this game, how are they going to react?
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to do? Because the next night they played, second night of a back-to-back against the Pelicans, which granted, they were missing like 8 players, which was ridiculous. But still, Alex, second night of a back-to-back, I was a little nervous. And what
Yeah.
did they do? What did they do, Alex?
You know who it was. Ty
Oh,
Jerome, baby.
Ty Jerome,
Ty
man.
Jerome was on fire.
Ty
Oh
Jerome
my
is having
gosh.
a career year.
Oh, against the Pelicans? Yeah, incredible. Came
But
in 29 points, just lit them up. He was
lit them
on
up.
fire. He could not miss. He was shooting threes from all over the court. Deep, deep threes from the logo. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah, it was out of control. Ty Jerome is easily becoming one of my favorite players on this team. He's very easy to root for. He has such a different style than what you're accustomed to seeing. We talked a little bit about this last time. Goes at his own speed, which throws off defenders. And yeah, he had a great game. And the Cavs came out and smashed a team that, was missing players, and they did what they were supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do when they're undermanned, right? And they did the same thing the next game against the Toronto Raptors. I don't think we really need to break down either one of those games, but that's the point I was getting at is, well, how are they going to react after they lost that Celtics game? Well, they came out and smashed the next 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they weren't great teams, but hey, that's 2 wins that made it a little bit easier to forget about that Celtics.
I think that Raptors game was the one I was texting you about, wasn't it? I
I
was
think
watching
so.
the Raptors game and I was just
Raptors were
laughing.
hanging around. Raptors were hanging around in that game, though. I will give them
Was
credit.
it? Was it?
Yeah,
I can't remember. I think it was the Raptors game because Ty Jerome came off that 29-point outing against the Pelicans, and then I started watching the Raptors game, and he just picked up where he left
26.
off. Yeah,
Yep.
26 points against the Raptors, and I was just laughing so hard because he was making them look like absolute fools. Just
Yeah.
he was shooting it from all over the place. He was stealing it, laying it up, taking it coast to coast. He like stole an inbound pass and he had a big man. Or no, wait, he stole it on their side of the court, ran all the way back down. He had the big man their big man, the Toronto's big man was still at the other end of the court underneath the basket, and he had like their guard chasing him. He
Yep.
ran full speed up to the hoop like he was going to lay it up, and the big man, like stepped back because he didn't want to draw the foul, and the guard came flying up to him, and Ty Jerome faked like he was going to pass the ball behind him, and the guard like drifted to the
Mm-hmm.
corner, and Ty Jerome was left standing there with the ball under the hoop. He faked out both the players that were there that were guarding him and just laid it in. I was
Yeah.
laughing so hard. It was so funny. I
It
was
was
texting you.
awesome.
I was like, man, this is like Linsanity. Ty Jerome's just
Yeah.
going
Ty
nuts.
Ty Sanity. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ty's been, man, what a after last year getting injured game 2 of the season, being out for the entirety of the year to come back and have a year like he's having this year is just, man, heck of a story. And he's been a great addition, and personally, I think a big reason why the Cavs are having the success they did. Much like when Rubio was here, there's a lot of comparisons to Rubio's first year, which again he was phenomenal that first year. Then he had some injuries and all that stuff, but Rubio made a big impact with that second unit, just like Ty is having now for us. And um, let me ask you this question, Alex. This is kind of a tough one. Maybe it's not even fair to ask, but he's getting compared so much to Rubio. Who would you go with if you could pick between Rubio and Ty? Who would you go with that you'd want to have on this Cavs roster? Now, not Rubio that is got injured for a year and a half and then took a mental break and is now overseas. I'm talking go back to year one of Rubio, because we're not going to hold the years after him against him, just like we're not going to hold last year against Ty anymore. Compare year one to year one. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Rubio or Ty Jerome?
Ooh, that's tough. I don't know, man.
I,
Are,
I, I don't
are,
know if I
we
could pick.
are we talking like year one with the Cavs, Rubio?
Yes, his best year. Just like this year is Ty's best year, right? Because technically he's in his second
I
year.
don't think we've seen enough of Ty yet to know for sure.
I
Like
think yeah, it's
he's had several very incredible games, but he's
yes,
also had some where he's just kind of disappeared.
yeah,
Um, I think I would say Ty Jerome, just because I think he is better defensively, um,
bit younger, bit
younger. Yeah,
younger,
of course, younger.
probably a better shooter, maybe a
Probably,
better
I think I'd
shooter.
give you that. Whereas Rubio was more of a little better court vision,
Yeah,
directing
he liked to
players
get into the
in
lane a little
general.
bit. Yeah, he
Yeah,
play a little bit down below the free throw line and stuff like that. Out of respect for Rubio, since you'll go Ty, I'll go Rubio. I think Ty Jerome is outstanding, but yeah, I
he
got to
also
give
gets
some
a lot of
respect to
steals.
Rubio.
Ty Jerome
He
tends to
does.
poke the
He
ball out quite a
does.
bit.
Can we have them both? Man, imagine having them both. Jeez, that'd be crazy. But yeah, going back to this, the Celtics lost, and what did the Cavs do? How are they going to react after that? They came out, they won those next two games. And now I feel like they're in the same boat because guess what, Alex? Guess who's waiting for them on Sunday?
The
6 o'clock.
Celtics.
We get the Celtics again.
All right,
And the
bring
Celtics
it.
are playing tonight. They're playing against the Bulls. It was a close game last time I checked. But this is a big game all over again because, again, it's two juggernauts, two top teams of the East. And the Celtics are going to be licking their chops and seeing their opportunity to get back to number one in the standings, just to prove like, nah, we're the real deal. Yeah, the Cavs came off to a hot start, but we're still the team. So how are the Cavs going to react? If they can come out and win that game somehow on Sunday, man, then these Hawks games are an afterthought. You lose that game, you get smashed or something like that. Now you're on a 3-game losing streak. You drop in the standings. We're having a different conversation,
Yeah,
right? It starts to go to that conversation you don't really want to get into too many times throughout the year. So I'm really hoping, Alex, the Cavs realize and step up and are motivated for that win.
I didn't get to see that first Celtics game because it was on TNT.
Yes.
I was on vacation,
Yeah, you were
and
out of
it
you
was
were out
on.
of you were out of the country,
Yeah, I was out
anyways.
of the country on vacation, and that game was on TNT, so it didn't record, so I didn't get to watch it.
I got to
Uh,
watch it. It was on Max.
Bummed.
Max carries TNT, and I
Oh,
and I have
damn
somebody's
it! I
login for
should have
that,
Max.
so I got to watch it, and I watched every minute. It was painful to watch, but something told me like just keep watching, right? And yeah, like the Cavs, just man, they they were getting humiliated, and they came back. They had a great third quarter, got back in the game, and like I said, they even had an opportunity, I would say, to win the game within the last couple minutes there. If they just could have went on a little mini run, it would have been game over. But I think what hurt them the most in that game, and again, they were undermanned, but they played zone and they switched on everything. And you mentioned Sam Merrill starts that game. Well, guess what happened? Way too many times. Sam was put in a bad spot a lot because he would get picked, he would get switched, and now all of a sudden he's guarding Jason, Tatum, who has 8 inches on him and, is, a top 10 player in the league himself. So we just didn't match up well, gave up way too many threes. The zone defense didn't work, but Atkinson never went away from it really because he really didn't have an answer with, so many guys out, Okoro being one of them. It was a tough game.
Yeah.
Um, but again, I turned off that game like they beat us barely, and we didn't even give our best effort. If we would have been giving our best effort and had, all those things happen, give up 15 threes and being crushed by halftime, and then it would have been disappointed. But I was just
Hmm.
like, nah,
Yeah.
that's not really a win to be too proud of if you're a Celtics, fan, because it took a lot of work for them to beat us while we were undermanned. So
Yeah. I only I did watch the highlights. I checked the box score. I saw Darius Garland like basically laid an egg. He went 0
Oh,
for 6 from
worst game of the
3,
season. Worst game of the
3 for
season.
21 from the field.
Yes.
It's like,
Yes. If
that's
Garland has a
awful.
normal game, it's a different game as well. He had the worst game of the season so far, that game. So that obviously didn't help as well.
I wonder if I
And
can go back and if you can go back and watch games on Max or if they're only there live.
I don't know if you
Mm,
can. I don't know if you can. But they
yeah.
had their bright green court, and even my kids walked by at one point. They're like, "What is that? I've never seen a green court before."
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see, Alex, what they do on Sunday against the Celtics. Um, they got to figure out a way to just move on and figure out how to win. They got the Wizards after that. So that's the Wizards, and then you got the Nuggets after that. So you got Jokic waiting for you, not too far around the corner as well.
Yeah. You had brought up Sam the Man Merrill. Man,
Yes.
he's been off the
Yep.
past few games.
Yep.
And
He's getting his shots up.
I mean, he's getting shots off, but he's not hitting anything,
He's
which
not
is
hitting.
very unlike him.
Yep.
He's been out of his groove. I just looked through the past 4 or 5 games here, and I see he was 2 for 6, 1 for 4. Yeah, 2. Yep. I mean, he just hasn't been on, which is very unlike him.
Yeah, and we need that, right? We need that shooting. And luckily we have several players that can go off at any given night. But,
Looks like he was out with
Sam,
an ankle injury against the Pelicans.
yeah. But Sam's your specialist, right? So you need him to come in. You need him to hit a couple threes. Otherwise, in no disrespectful manner, but he's kind of not really contributing the way you need him to if
That's
he's not hitting some threes out there for you.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of a one-trick pony. If he's not hitting
Yeah.
threes, then what's he doing on the court?
He's always given an effort. I'll give him that, but he's undersized. He's going to be he's not going to be a good defensive. He's going to hurt you on the defensive end. So where he helps you out is get those points back with his shooting abilities. So we'll see. I mean, shooting slumps happen. He just got to hopefully get out of it and here sooner than later. Sunday would be a great day for that. Just no zone defense on Sunday,
Yeah,
please.
earlier in the season, you would see Sam kind of step in and take those charges, just like you
Yeah,
used to see Kevin Love do it
Kevin
all the
Love
time.
doing. Yeah,
But lately, I haven't even seen him do that.
yeah.
So
Well, hey, it's still been a great start to the season, and one thing we didn't talk about because there has been a couple losses here, though. Up until that Celtics game, they were 15-0, and with every win, they kept moving up in the history books. And I don't know if you saw, but it's pretty cool that the Cavs are only one of 4 teams in NBA history that has ever started off 15-0. Like 4 teams, like that's crazy, man.
yeah,
Like the
that's cool.
Cavs,
Yeah,
just an unbelievable start to this. 17-3, I'll take that all day. All
yeah.
day. I will take that.
The funny thing about that is, people ask me, "Hey, you still doing the podcast? I see the Cavs have been rolling," and I'm like, "Yeah, we're still doing the podcast."
Yep.
And they're like, "How's it going?" I'm like, it's going great, but it's getting difficult to talk, find things to talk about because they just keep winning." And they're like,
Yep.
"Yeah, there's nothing to bitch about."
Yeah. This is probably the first episode. We're not even really, dogging them or anything like that. Because, like I said, they were bound to lose at some point. And any given, it's the NBA, man. So on any given night, any team can beat any team. Like the worst teams in the league still somehow find a way to win games, and sometimes they beat the better team. So it was going to happen. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's been fun, but from a content base, yeah. I mean, how many times can you say the Cavs are awesome, right? So, but hey, it does feel good, Alex, because wasn't always that way, right?
And the Cavs are awesome.
Yeah, the Cavs are awesome, man. Go buy a $3,000 pool table to
Yeah, I
celebrate.
might. Don't tempt me.
Yeah. So here's another question for you. All right, I'll give you another one, another tough one, and it's I don't know what you're gonna say. So the core 4 playing pretty good basketball, right? And they're in the history books, both for the Cavaliers franchise and for NBA history and all that stuff. Would you go core 4 or would you go big 3?
Core
Meaning
4 or big 3, meaning
LeBron, Kyrie, and
LeBron,
Love.
Kyrie, and Love.
Yes. That's probably an unfair question. Let me ask you this question. Let me twist that just a little bit because I think
I think that
it's
answer is extremely easy.
I think so too.
Because
Let me do
all
this
right,
then.
go ahead.
So the Big Three gave you one championship. If the Cavs somehow won a championship this year with the core four, so it's 1-1 now. And you had to pick one, if you could start over all over again and all their primes and all that, like the timeline all over again for like next year and beyond, you had the next 5 years of them or something like that. Would you go core four or big three? They both
Core
have one
four.
championship.
Oh man, knowing how the big three ends
Eh,
and
maybe
not
they had it.
knowing
Maybe they have a
how the
different.
core four will end.
Maybe they have a different ending if Kyrie doesn't start demanding trades.
I
Because
mean,
really,
if
that's
you're
the only reason why you had a different ending, right?
right, so if you're saying core four or big three
No, no.
with
I
each
say,
having
no, no.
one championship,
Yeah, but you get them for 5 years after that championship. Let's do a 5-year run with them.
but I know that the big three never accomplished anything after that championship.
That's
I
because
don't
they only
know
had
what the core four is going to do yet. So if you're
yeah,
saying they've already got one championship, I am definitely choosing core four
core four. All right,
because, there's a lot more potential there. They're all still really young.
very young.
Um,
It's tough, man,
it's
because
tough,
it's a
but
completely
you wouldn't have said that the core four, assuming they had a championship, I would have for sure went for the big three because I knew
sure.
they'd have a championship. And if it wasn't that they had run into the Golden State Warriors in like historic
Yeah,
fashion,
right.
we would have had 3 or 4 rings. So
Potentially,
yeah,
potentially, it's a tough question because it's the dynamic of the two groups are so different. Like, I'm still not sold on any two of the core four is better than LeBron and Kyrie when they're clicking and they're doing their thing. Like, it's Mitchell. I'll give you Mitchell, but it's like a Mitchell Mobley. Is that better than Kyrie and LeBron in their heyday here in Cleveland? I don't know if I'm ready to say that yet, right? But what makes it a difficult question is the dynamic of we'll add in Jared Allen in there, two dynamic bigs that can do very different things and help you in different ways. That really Jared Allen, there is no Jared Allen in that big three. There is no defensive big stopper that's just going to dunk on you, block people, and just somehow throw up double doubles basically
Tristan Thompson.
on a nightly basis. You going to throw him in there? He's going to be your core
Tristan
four?
Thompson.
Ah,
Core four.
core four. Core four.
OG core four. Delhi. OG core five.
Yeah. Yeah.
Delhi trays.
Delhi's your Ty Jerome.
Delhi tray.
We start comparing the rosters, right? Maybe that'd be a fun episode to do. Like if the Cavs ever won a championship again, and the core four is still here and helps deliver that'd be a fun thing to do. Is kind of compare the rosters.
Ty Jerome versus Delhi.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's not equivalent. I don't remember who are. Yeah.
Jump JR. Who's your JR? Who's your Channing Frye? Who's your RJ?
Jump.
It'd be
Yeah.
Fun. Tristan at that time versus it was just Tristan versus Tristan. I don't know.
Old Tristan versus young Tristan.
Yeah.
Old juiced up Tristan.
Right.
Enhanced. Yeah.
Before he gets busted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow Mike Brown's still there. I don't know.
He's on both teams somehow.
Yeah, somehow he is. Nah, man. The core four, they're doing special things. Still an incredible start to the season. Again, they just got to figure out, okay, when adversity comes your way, whether it's injuries or losses, whatever the case may be, how are you going to react? So Sunday's a big game. I'm looking forward to it. Always be a little nervous going into those games against the juggernauts of the team. But hey, the only way you're going to actually become a juggernaut is if you start beating some of these teams, right? On somewhat a consistent basis. So it should be a fun game, Alex. I think that's
it's on NBA TV, so I'm gonna have to find some creative way to watch it.
Yeah, and it's in Cleveland. It's at home. So I mean,
maybe I'll just go to it then.
I was just gonna say, just you didn't buy that $3,000 pool table, so I know you got some extra change in the wallet.
Pool table or go to the game.
Yeah,
it's tough.
You could probably spend $3,000 at the Cavs game on seats. Get really good seats.
I don't know. I was looking at seats, and tickets are crazy expensive right now because they were on that epic run.
Yeah.
Tickets went through the roof. Like even nosebleeds were much more than I was used to seeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Makes sense. I
taking a
mean,
family of four is just like, wow, crazy
yeah.
expensive.
$500 probably to take the
$40,
family.
$30, $40 parking.
Yep. You
Kids
got to
want
feed the
food and
kids.
drinks. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Go see a Charge game instead. I was telling you, I was looking up prices for that. We can live like kings, Alex, because for $39, we can basically have courtside seats, get all we can eat hot dogs, popcorn, nachos, pop.
Let's do it.
$39.
$39. Let's do it. Pick a day. Pick a day. Just
We need to get to a Charge game for
let me
sure.
know.
I think that'd be really fun. That'd be fun. Parking's got to be cheaper. So,
Get to see Nance, Pete Nance.
yeah.
Yeah,
Travers when he's playing there, JT Thor, whenever they're not called up to the Cavs, yeah.
Thor played really well. He played in either that Pelicans game or that Raptors game. I can't remember now, but
Yeah, they
he had a
threw
good few
in.
minute.
Yeah, they threw him in one of those games. I forget which one too.
It was the Pelicans game. He went 4 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from three, a block, 2 steals, 2 rebounds, all in 12 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah, what I
he
like
lit
about
him
him
up.
is he doesn't think. He just does. You know what I mean? He just reacts. The ball gets thrown to him, he reacts. He's doing something with it. And
It
yeah,
would
I
be
remember. I mean, the Cavs were having a blast this game because this game was over by the fourth quarter, basically. And yeah, Thor came in and yeah, had some fun out there for sure.
would
Travers
be
played 30 minutes this game. He only did 4 points. He didn't do nothing crazy, but that just goes to show. Like Craig Porter Jr., Travers, both played 30 plus minutes that game. So
yeah.
it wasn't much of a game. Mobley only played 18 minutes.
It'd
It's
be cool to
crazy.
have a Cavs jersey that says Thor on the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
It
one of
would.
the new city editions.
There you go.
What do you think about those?
They're okay. I don't know. They're it's so I don't know. Anything outside of like the normal Cavs colors are always hard for me to appreciate, I guess. Um I know you're more of a jersey guy and all that stuff than I am, but if it's like I want to see wine and gold or I want to see old like 80s or 90s Cavs colors, and that's all I need. I'm simple. I don't need blue. I don't need looking
Hmm.
like it's like the what was it? North Carolina like Tar Heels colors out there.
Exactly. That's a buddy texted me before I had seen him. A buddy texted me a picture of him when like the press release first came out, and I was like, "Are those Tar Heel North Carolina
Exactly.
Tar Heel jerseys?" And I was
That's
like,
like
I didn't like them, and he replied that he liked them. He said that the blue reminded him of the '90s orange and blue Cavs jerseys, and I was like, "Nah, that's a totally different blue. That's yeah,
yeah,
it's
no, yeah. It was a darker
this is
blue.
more of like a powder blue, a baby
Yeah.
blue."
Yeah.
I didn't like them at first. Now they're kind of growing on me. I do kind of like them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind a Ty Jerome City Edition blue jersey.
There you go.
That's definitely like very specific to this era. I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I get why teams do it, and there's plenty of people that love that stuff. So I don't know. I'm just
The Ty
whatever.
Sanity jersey.
Ty Sanity. He is a unrestricted free agent after this year, Alex. So um, that's the only bad thing.
I
He's gonna
really,
draw. He's gonna draw some attention,
hmm,
and the Cavs are gonna potentially have to get creative if they want to hold on to him beyond this season,
I
as
really
he's
don't
probably gonna
know
have
a
some
whole lot
suitors.
about him. How old he is, how long he's been in the league.
I read that up until this point, he's basically only got rookie and minimum contracts. So he's playing the way he's playing. He's going to get a payday from somebody, just the way it works. But I think he's relatively young, probably mid-20s is my guess.
Looks like 27 years old. So he fits the timeline along with the rest of the team, doesn't he?
Very well. It's amazing how many guys do on this team, to be honest with you. Like I think the Cavs did a really good job with that. Um,
Drafted by the Sixers in the first round, 24th overall pick of the 2019 draft.
crazy.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
got to start somewhere.
Had a couple seasons with Oklahoma City, then had the one season with Golden State, then came to Cleveland and played 2 games in 2023.
Still more than Andrew Bogut. Bogut played like 2 minutes. So remember that?
Yeah, 20 seconds. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
checked in.
exactly. So,
That was it.
yep. It's
Well,
crazy too because I think I heard on one of the recent games they were talking about him that he only had like 2 or 3 20-point games in his career before he became a Cavalier, and he's already had like 5 or 6 this year so far. So good for him, man. Or
yeah,
glad to have him on our team for sure.
so funny. He makes me laugh so hard when he's just going off. It's like, where did this little guy come from that is probably sleeping on his buddy's couch? It's like, it's awesome. I love it.
Dylan Windler, he's sleeping at Windler's.
Yeah,
Oh, that was mean.
that was.
I hope you're good, Dylan, whatever you are. I don't even know if he's still in the league, to be honest with you. I
Oh
don't know.
man,
I
you
don't
really
know.
pulled that out of nowhere, Dylan Windler. Dude, what happened to him?
Last I saw, it was New York, but that was like last year. And there's no way he's stuck. Especially, maybe he's playing for like their G League team or
Atlanta
Atlanta.
Hawks. What?
Yeah, he ain't
He
playing.
must be out of the league. That was last season.
Yeah,
He played with the Hawks last season. I don't see him on a roster now.
Yeah.
Boy, that's depressing because we held on to him for 3 seasons hoping he would become that sharp shooting 3-point ace up our sleeve, and it just never happened. He never
4 second-round picks for that guy, Alex. I still remember his golf highlights though, the draft night that they showed. I don't know if you remember that. They showed highlights of him just hitting balls at a driving range or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that. Maybe he'll join JR Swish.
There you go. There you go. All right, Alex, we're rambling.
Are
So
we? All right.
let's go ahead and wrap up this episode of the Cavs Pick and Roll podcast. I want to thank you, Cavs fans, as always, for tuning in and listening. And Alex, you know what to do.
Follow us on Twitter at Cavs Pick and Roll. Shoot us an email, cavspickandroll@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, wherever you're listening, watching. Click like, subscribe, leave us a rating or review. We'd appreciate it.
All right, Cavs fans, there it is. We will talk to you again soon.
Peace out, Cavs fans.